By the way, just to let you know, I am involved in Kuala Lumpur. Many of them are Filipinos. So am I. I am Ilocano. And I'm also part Chinese. Anyway, just to let you know. Now, you may be thinking, how come this Ilocano is now a director of St. John's International School? You're probably wondering. Well, let you know. I actually been involved in Malaysia since when? 1970. I go back and forth. Why? Because also a professor of Asian Institute of Management, AIM, which is what? Is the only one in the world where you have an Asian Institute of Management who are owned or controlled by whom? La Salle and Ateneo. That's why it was a little bit different. So, anyway, that is who I am. Okay, then. Talking about innovation. Another way of looking at it, of what innovation is all about, in simple terms, is to be able to enhance, to think and to do. And because of that, you become happy, and you be delight as far as that. And basically, 50 years ago, I was trained into personal, they call it at that time, personnel management. And I was involved with Del Monte and Dole. And when I was involved in that, the idea was of personal management, what they called it before. I'll tell you why they changed now. The main thing at the time was to be able to take care of the workers. That was what it was, mainly. And one of the things that I decided to do is to be able to really take care of them. What do you mean by taking care of them? One, at the time, specifically in Dole, it had controlled 10,000 hectares in what do you call that, southern Cotabato, near General Santos. And the main thing then was to really take care as an innovation in a way to take care of the workers. And one of the things that we decided to do was, there were a lot of poor workers. What did we do? Make sure that they have good schools. Aside from asking the government to be able to do that, was also asked the owners of Dole to improve their facilities and also make sure that they are the right and good teachers. And one of the things too at the time was to improve not only Tagalog, but to improve in English. That's what we used to do. So that was what I doing. Then somewhere along the line, I decided to go back to Manila. Oh, by the way, I was born in Dingras, Ilocos Norte. And I grew up in Lawag. Then my father transferred me to Cotabato. It's called Piquet, where most of them are what? Ilocano and Muslims. But anyway, so went to back to Manila. And one of the things that happened was, for some reason, while I was working in a particular company, all of a sudden, somehow, there was somebody that called to talk with me, and he said, Albert, I think somebody wants you to be a case writer. Do you mean what a case writer? You know what it means by a case writer? Basically, why don't you ask him what a case writer, which is a legal thing? Because case writing was from the lawyers. But I had to be able to be involved in business. Okay? Is to be able to get better, to understand it well. So I got into that, into case writing. And somewhere along the line, I became what you call became a degree in so-called business management. And at that time, I became a teacher. To be teaching. And that was Asian Institute of Management. Okay? Now, what is a little bit different with the Asian Institute of Management? What is the difference is, as a teacher, because The main thing is in business. They call it business management. So as a teacher then, we had not just to be a plain teacher. They also want to be involved in business, because it's supposed to be. So how can you become them as businessmen of the people or the students unless you yourself knew how to be involved in business? And that's the reason why now I am both involved in what? I work here. Every 3 months, I am in Pasig, because I am also the director of a cold storage. So, which is also a little bit different, but that's what it is all about. Now, talking now about the innovations that we are talking about, of which we are involved with St. John's International School. And what we wanted to do was to be able to do something better. And what are the things that we had to do was some of the things that we decided to do to be a little bit different as far as teaching them for innovation. One of them is to be able to improve their English. We call direct English. Better than the regular one, to really improve their English. And basically, not just the teacher, not just the students, but also the teachers themselves. So that's one innovation that we had. The other one, we call it Success Planner. Now, essentially, is just to be able, rather than otherwise, to be able to prepare for your examinations, especially when after that, after how many, all these years before they go to the college, was to be able to train certain things rather than most of the time go see the TV. So train them how to themselves to improve and enhance to be able to know things, basically. So that's another one that we've been looking at. And another other things that we had to do was to yes, the English, you have to look at that. And improve the level of our sports. And also into clubs. As many as you can, including art and design, the band, culinary, dancing and all that, to be a little bit different. And we decided to do that because we wanted to have something a little bit better and be able to compete well against the other schools. So we intend to do that, and we make it into better. And we, as I said, we'll improve the facilities now that we have a very tall building to be able to do that. And that's what it is all about. Okay?